Welcome back to Heath's House, where we do a little bit of everything all the time, and it usually turns out right. You're probably going to hear a bunch of thumping right now, and I'm going to have to see how loud that is in the background. But we were gifted this little blow-up thing, and number 5 has been jumping on it non-stop for days.
I'm 6, Dad.
You're number 5, though.
I'm 6.
And so, anyways, we got some people coming over. They're doing a play date with Heath, and the parents are going to come for dinner. I got to coach basketball here in a couple hours, so I'm going to try to whip up some spaghetti sauce and stuff we had in the cupboard. It's going to have chicken, ground beef, and Italian sausage in it, and then some vegetables. So, let's get started. Some of this is going to take a little bit. I'm going to have to come back in and out. All the meat's frozen, so as that's thawing though, I'm going to put some olive oil in here, and I'm going to get the vegetables sauteed. I'm going to use a whole onion. Guess I need to turn the pot on. I'm gonna let these onions go for probably like 5-7 minutes to get them nice and soft. I don't know if you saw my Facebook page last night, but we did pizza. The boys all of a sudden wanted pizza, so I made a quick dough, and that was very good. My one son had it with pesto on it, which he loves. That's why this pepper has no top of it right now. We only needed a little pepper for that. And I'm really just using things that are around my house right now. So this is slightly different than a normal recipe I make, because I use a lot of fresh tomatoes normally, but we don't have any. So I'm using some canned sauce, some canned crushed tomatoes, and some marinara sauce. And a lot of garlic. I'm going to use this whole clove of fresh garlic, and then I'm probably going to put some powdered garlic in there as well. Although maybe not, because I think those sauces all have a little bit of garlic in it. Now the fun part, peeling it. All right, I'll chop it up a little bit. All right, that should be good. Yeah, it's like a half cup of garlic, I guess, chopped. That should be about right. All right, I'm gonna wash these mushrooms off real quick. These mushrooms, I'm just gonna dice up. Leave them nice and chunky in there. And now we just wait. Once this onions get ready, we'll start adding the rest of the vegetables in. Add a little more olive oil. And then I'm going to try to get the rest of this meat thawed really quick, and I'm going to start cooking that up. Start with the meatballs. I'm going to actually grind these up. I'm going to smash them up. So these won't be meatballs, but these are Italian sausage. And then these are like a mozzarella Italian sausage, and I'm going to leave these whole because number 4 loves meatballs, but I need some ground up sausage. So these are frozen, but they'll thaw while they're heating up. All right, the onions are looking pretty good. So I'm going to put the peppers in there for like a minute or two. All right, here, we got some sauce. Yeah, both of these have some garlic in it, so I probably won't add any. Well, this one doesn't. But this one does, and this one will. So I probably won't add any garlic in. I'll wait till the very end. Well, besides it's half a cup of fresh garlic, that is. One good thing about making it with this instead of fresh tomatoes is you can do it a lot quicker. I usually fill this up about halfway with fresh tomatoes and then just simmer that down. So once I get the onions and the peppers and the garlic in there, I would load it with tomatoes and then I would simmer that for like an hour or so, maybe 2, till I got to where I wanted it to go, and then I would start the rest. But now I'm just going to dump the sauce in. Alright, those are where we need to go. I'm going to dump the garlic and mushrooms in. And then I'm getting ready to cut meat on the board, so I'm going to chop one of these up really quick. This will go in later, probably when I put the meat in. Like I said, I just pulled all this meat out of the freezer. I was actually not planning on doing anything tonight because I had basketball practice, but kid wanted to have a play date, so this is ground beef. I'm gonna cut it up into smaller chunks while it's frozen so I can put it in the pan and it'll start cooking. One little piece of wrapper still in there. I don't want that to go in spaghetti still. Just get that pulled out. I'm just going to chunk this up a little bit. It'll help it thaw out faster while it's cooking. And I pulled out 2 pounds of ground beef. But I'm probably going to use 1 because I'm using this smaller pot today. So I'm not making as much spaghetti as I normally make. My chicken's frozen too. There's 3 breasts in here. I'm only going to use 1. And I'm only sauteing these vegetables now until they get that nice garlicky smell. And then I'm going to put all that sauce in. And then I'm going to throw the rest of these chicken breasts in the backpack. Save them for another day. A little frozen, a little pad still on there, so I'm going to have to get that off. Now for the chicken, it's not going to get smashed up like the beef and the sausages, so I'm going to cut this into smaller chunks. It's actually easier to cut up when it's a little frozen. So I'm just dicing these like a 1/4 inch. But whatever you want to have on your spoon or fork, that's the size you want to cut it in. Alright, I'm going to go wash up a little bit. Alright, I think we got the vegetables where they need to be. I'm going to dump this in. And the crushed tomatoes. And the marinade. And that should be enough sauce for all the meat that's going in there. So now I'm just going to turn this on low and let it sit. And then I don't know if you guys have one of these, but it's a little smasher tool. I love it for making these. It gets this stuff smashed up nice and small. Oh, these meatballs sound delicious. Alright, while this is cooking, I'm going to pause this video so I can turn my Italian music back on, because that's what I like to cook with in the kitchen. Alright, the meat's where we want it. Well, the sausage and the ground beef, it's all smashed up. So now I'm going to add the chicken in. And now, it's just going to cook for a while. I'm going to cook the meat till it's just about all the way cooked through. Chicken basically has to be cooked through, but that'll cook pretty fast. The meat is pretty much done. Normally, I would make the meat first. It was frozen, and when I use fresh tomatoes, and I use the fat from here to do the vegetables instead of olive oil. But since we're doing this quick today, we're using sauce anyways. I'm just going to set this stuff up tilted, let it drain for a bit. Then once it drains, I'm going to dump all the meat in there. Now, I'm going to scoop this out, put it in. All right, now that the meat's out, I'm gonna drain the fat into this can because I'm gonna put those other meatballs in here now. All right, these ones are the ones that are gonna stay. And these meatballs are pretty big, so once they start cooking, I'm probably gonna cut them in half or maybe even quarters. All right, so now we have everything in here. I'm just gonna mix this up really well. And then we're gonna let these meatballs simmer. Cook them slowly so they don't burn on the outside while the inside thaws out some. All right, so the meatballs are cooked enough where I can cut them up. So I'm just pulling them out. I'm making them into quarters. I'd split them into half earlier. Let them cook a little bit more. So now, instead of 8 meatballs, we got 32. Perfect. Now just let them finish cooking. A little taste test. Need some seasoning. Got about half a teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to put a half a teaspoon of salt. About half a teaspoon of dried oregano. About a tablespoon of basil. And this is an Italian blend. It can overpower something really quick, so I'm not actually putting too much in there. Maybe like half a teaspoon. All right, let's stir this up and see how it tastes in a little bit. I was doing my taste testing. It's all pretty good, but I realized I was missing something. So I'm gonna add a little bit of balsamic vinegar to it. It's probably about a tablespoon, tablespoon and a half. I'm gonna stir that in. At this point, we should be good to go now. I'm just gonna let it simmer until everybody else gets here, and then we'll eat. All right, well, the rest of the video and the spaghetti was done about 4.5 hours ago. We had Luke's basketball practice from 6:30 to 7:30. Nobody showed up, so we kept practicing until about 8. And then the kids wanted to take on the parents, so we spent about an hour playing basketball against the kids, and that was a blast. Parents won, just for the record. We destroyed them. And it was a good time, but now I'm ready to eat. So here we go. We got the meatballs and spaghetti, and we got these sourdough crackers, which I just made. Yeah, these are really good. They're garlic sourdough crackers, just with discard and some butter and garlic. Very delicious. So I appreciate y'all stopping in here to watch this video. I am tired. I'm probably gonna take some ibuprofen, and I'm gonna eat some dinner with Luke. So thanks for stopping into Heath's house, where the food is always fresh, back deck's always open, and sometimes we miss dinner because we're playing basketball. See y'all around. Bye.